I think that choices are entirely cosmic. Let me explain to you what I mean. I think that what you choose to do is entirely detached from your past, your traumas, and all your subconscious thoughts. But that's very easy to agree with. It's very easy to think what we choose, our ideas, are all dictated by our environment and influenced by what we see and do. I definitely agree with that. However, I believe what we choose between the options given by the environment is entirely cosmic, and I think that's all down to us. When somebody is useless, or he's an asshole, or he's not responsible, it's entirely his choice, and he chose to be that way. And of course, it could be battered down by trauma and shit, but he chose to let it destroy him. He chose that, and that's very hard to say because that's very, very easy to be against. And that's a very controversial thought. At any moment, we can immediately choose to do what's right. Of course, that comes with our ability to be mindful and make the right choices and understand that our emotions does a lot of the thinking for us many of the times. And we have to train being more mindful before we can have full control over that. But I think when we are conscious in the moment, we are in full responsibility of our actions and we can choose what to do. Here, listen to this. Psychology is not static. There's not a singular answer for how someone can turn out. Of course, you can observe behavioral patterns and how environments affect them in little ways by observing patterns and observing the general path of the people who have been through the same things. When you ask your parents why they treat you so harshly, and abusive parents, for example, they often attribute it to their parents, which used to mistreat them, belittle them, abuse them. I don't know why I did this. People do get abused. But often you see, look at generational trauma. Abusiveness is passed down from generations. But if that's really true, then there will be a exponential growth in abusive parents. If one family produces 2 children and that family is abusive, and that 2 children will become abusive, right? And those 2 children, they go and find other mates. Let's say they both have 2 children. Then there'll be 4 children, and there'll be an exponential growth of abused people that abuse their children. Well, that's just not true. And these abused people can choose to not be abusive. If they didn't, there'll be an exponential growth in abused people that abuse their children. I think we are in full control of our choices, and we should take full responsibility of them and take full pride in what we choose to do. We have to be willing to choose what is right and what is good and what is better for us. If trauma does affect my decisions, check this out. I can decide to move my hand. Did trauma influence that? Hell no. If I can decide to move my hand, why can't I decide to not procrastinate? Why can't I decide to start the work? You can decide to. Trust me, you can. You just grab the pen and you put it. If you say that you can't, you are voluntarily misleading yourself. You're voluntarily limiting yourself. You're putting a boundary in place that wasn't necessarily there. Maybe the environment or weak mental health that you're born with make you procrastinate. You can choose to move your hand, right? You can choose to pick out the pen, right? You can choose to put the pen on the paper, right? You can do all that in that moment. Choices are cosmic. You can beat every barrier your mind sets for itself. You just have to choose to do it, and you have to want it bad enough to pick it up. You can if you can move your hand in that moment of distress, in that moment of procrastination, you can move your hand to do the work. It's absolutely nuts. Mind blow. So if you can move your hand, why can't you choose to do the right thing? Why can't you choose to say the right things? Why can't you choose to talk to that person that you have always been avoiding? Why can't you choose to confront this person? Why can't you choose to go to the gym? Why can't you choose to stand up for others or take action even when you're afraid? Even scientists get into our brains and our DNA and our genetic code, and they find out that what our neurology and how it works, and it does influence our choices that we make. And what I'm saying is, no matter how it affects it, we can still choose to move our hand. And then we can choose to pick up the pen. And we can choose pen. Even if this is false, what better way is there to live? If we fully believe that our choices is entirely determined by ourselves and is cosmic, and we can make the right choices at any point in time, we have nothing to blame by ourselves. And you might argue that, oh, that creates some cyclical self-deprecation. Well, you can choose not to self-deprecate. Boom! But that comes with a lot of mindfulness And you have to practice that. And you can choose to be mindful by choosing to meditate, by choosing to journal, by choosing to work on yourself. It all lines up into a path to get better. What better way is there to live? Why are you voluntarily bounding yourself to these fixed limits? Don't we all seek to liberate ourselves? Why would you do that to yourself? Why are you afraid you'll overwork yourself? Oh boo-hoo, I work too hard. It's fulfilling. And it's a gift. As long as you remain mindful and you take care of your mental health. I think that all trauma, all subconscious thoughts or bad habits, it all can be changed. And you just have to choose to take steps to get there. It really all can be changed. It can start changing right now. I think that it was a huge mistake to put so many definitions on psychological constructs like depression, anxiety. Okay, there is a lot of importance to defining them and stuff like that, but it is so limiting to let people know that depression and autism and I don't know, asthma is like a thing that will limit them, and they will forever have that to rely on as an excuse, which sounds bad and I sound ignorant, but what I'm saying is without the knowledge of that, they can go so much further as long as they remain mentally healthy. And okay, this sounds naive as shit, but how could I say have depression and mentally healthy? Well, I think that even during a depressive state, you can choose to move your hand, and you can choose to take very tiny steps and structure your life. And even if I'm wrong, really, what better way is there to live? I think that if they think of it as they're not bound by their mental disorders, they'll actually feel much more liberated, and probably in turn make them happier, and probably in turn improve their mental condition. Why would you tell them that they're depressed so they will feel this way? Why are you defining that? I don't think us as a community should be defining that for people. And the fact that choices and what you choose to do is entirely cosmic should be an idea that is sold to everyone. And I think we should stop pushing the idea that, oh, we should be more sensitive to this person because he has this problem, and hence we won't push him equally. How's that fair to them? Not at all. We as humans, we have consciousness. We break the fourth wall of life. It's absolutely immaculate, and it's wonderful to think about. So go ham, make the right choices. Choose to become a better person. Don't waste your potential to a better world.